so now we've got a basic beat going, so I'm quite happy with the sound so far. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm not going for that big 200 Hz snare. I'm going for the more kind of minimal, spacious thing, which I thought I'd do because, you know, it's something different. So now maybe we could add like a shaker, which I think I called it earlier. Yeah, I've got these here. So a little shaker there. Again, a small amount of reverb going just to tail off. And I mean, the reverb thing really works with these kind of beats because you've got a lot of space between the hits. Obviously, if you're going for something more dance floor, you want things to be quite dry and, you know, to be hitting harder. But here, you know, we're going for this kind of more spaced out sound. Just to show you that you can be really experimental. For example, I just recorded some random stuff in my room and I recorded basically some gaffer tape basically being pulled on the mic, and the TLM, I mean the 193 picks up a lot of the bottom end, so here you can so basically that's the sound of the gaffer tape being recorded. What I've done is actually cut it up and used it as part of the groove in the beat. You can hear it almost sounds like a kick being reversed, or you know, it's got that kind of sound. So you can hear it sucking into the snare and then out of the kicks, same thing. Then I'm going to EQ it because it's quite bottom heavy. I've put a low cut on a channel EQ once again up to about 115, just to take out that really heavy bottom end out, and then push the tops a little bit. I've got a little peak here from about 500 to 20 just to get that top end, and then again some reverb with the silver reverb, just low cut just so you get that airiness out of it. And now you can hear. So yeah, I mean, basically you could do anything, and it's quite fun to do because at least, you know, it's your own sounds, it's original, and it's, you know, different from just the usual sample packs and things like that. So if you can invest in a really good mic, it is actually worth, you know, doing, and it will definitely expand your palette of sounds. So now I've got my beat, you know, I think it's pretty, as a basic beat, it's pretty much there. It's enough, you know, for me to vibe and then move on to different things like Atmos, bass, which we're going to do a little bit. What I like to do often is to add some background noise that is not very prominent, but it just kind of sits, you know, in the back of the mix, and just it adds some kind of atmosphere. Here, it's just the sound really. It's just some static basically. Quite airy, just really high pass, which is just running with the beat. What I've actually done to add some extra groove is I've bussed the kick separately to another bus rather than with all the percussion. Just bus itself just on its own, so I can sidechain that static to the kick. So every time the kick comes in, the static kind of dips in and disappears, and then just pumps out, so it just comes and gets that groove going, which you can hear here, coming in and out. And just a basic drone, which I've played here on the Virus. I keep everything in key, so the keys that I play the drone in will be, you know, will refer to the bass line and so on. So everything's in key. So here we've just got a drone, which is doing the same thing basically, slightly sidechaining, not too much, just so it blends in with the static. Which is the kind of of thing, obviously, if you've got a really noisy beat, you know, you're not really going to notice, but with this kind of thing, it really sets the mood, and the drone just kind of adds some eeriness and some kind of character to the tune already. So something really simple. Then playing the same chords again, recorded live on the Virus. I've got just the synth sound just faded in. Into the main break. So, you know, if we say that's kind of an intro, I guess, I mean, this is just like, that's a main 32 and then 16 intro. So just to get some kind of structure going. Okay, so now we've got, I guess, some kind of vibe going on the track, so we're going to move on to bass now. Usually when I've got my breaks and some kind of sounds, this is my next step. I used to use a lot of samples for bass. Now with the Virus, I've pretty much make everything myself. So the same thing as the mic, the Virus going into 1 and 2, into the sound card, into Logic. And here there is a little bass that I made earlier. So something really quite with a lot of distortion in the mid-range and top end. The reason is for that is because when you low pass something like that, you get a lot of texture and a lot of resonance, you know, which kind of adds a lot of character to the bass, rather than a sub which is, you know, just straight low end. So here, basically, I made the bass on the Virus. I've got some distortion going here, just some hard distortion. So what I've done is I've recorded the actual bass sound open, so I can then modify it and put it into the sampler in Logic, and then actually, you know, start modulating in there. So here, this is the EXS24, which is the sampler I use. It's my main sampler basically in Logic, for mainly bass and Rex files and things such as that. So I've recorded the sound in, chopped it up, and then put it into EXS24. If we open the filter and actually go into the sound here. You've got your bass there, obviously it's pitched down. So now with a bit of filtering and a bit of envelope, we can start getting some movement on the bass. If I solo it, so here what I've done is I've got a low pass on the on the cutoff here. What I've done is applied an envelope to the cutoff, so you can apply it to it. So here I wanted to get the start of the actual bass. I wanted to get just like almost like, you know, the stab and the punch really going. So I've just opened up the envelope a little bit here on the decay. Without it, you can hear it's almost like the attack is up. Bring the decay. The further you go, the more it's going to open up. So I've kept it so it just opens up on the very start of the bass, just to get that punch on each hit, which is sitting on the kick. So when I bring the beat in, sitting there. So that's our main groove there. Really simple, but it's got a nice groove to it.